But yeah, Kompetitor probably means some Johnny Cage is on the way.
Yes, a little bit of Johnny Cage action in that last block as well. We did it both in Pulse and King Gambler, so Kompetitor stepping up to show another flair of Johnny Cage.
Most likely going to still be the Johnny Cage Tremor, I assume, though, because that is kind of the main premier Johnny team. I think that the Tremor cameo has done so much for taking characters who were popular once upon a time, but have kind of fallen off, and now they're seeing play again, right?
Yes.
So your Johnny Cage, your Baraka, characters like that, you know, maybe Raiden players should be looking into it, you know. But
I saw Wits playing that team actually. The Tremor with the Raiden out in the first pool block there. So
I think it's the case of, and I was saying this earlier on in an earlier block, but like when you take a cameo like Tremor where you have that much utility, you're bound to find something that your character can use. So like the question is it enough to warrant picking the cameo? And for a lot of characters at the moment, the answer is obviously yes. Yeah. But yeah, I think we're seeing a decent amount of variety thus far.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, MK1 is in such a solid spot right now where that variety can really be shown across all the cast, right? The cameo system has really kind of been fleshed out. I think they've done a solid job of expanding even upon the old cameos that are still available to give them new life. Like even the change for Striker, just adding that new cameo.
Well, that's it. It's not just about adjusting what's there. It's the fact that there's been like new moves altogether, reworks of some moves in some cases. And yeah, I think most of the cameos in this game at this point are viable in some way. I think it's a question of how versatile they are.
Right.
Because some cameos, right, like your Sectors, your Tremors, I guess your Chameleon still to a point are like, you can kind of give them to anyone and get some upfront value.
Exactly.
And then you've got the more niche pairings, but are still very good, like your Jax, right?
Yes.
Jax is not the kind of cameo you can just slap on anyone.
Yeah.
But then you look at like the Takeda Jax, the Katana Jax, things like that where, you know, they do see play and they do seem to be very powerful because of it. And I think a lot of cameos are kind of in that latter category where they're good with some characters, just not everyone. But who they are good with, they are super worth considering.
Exactly. So trying to get the settle in here. Yeah, I mean, ooh, Sector with the Baraka. Interesting.
Baraka Sector.
So you do get some solid follow-ups here with the double missile situation. I saw a very great confirmed scenario off of a throw, which I think will still be pretty well utilized here. There's a lot of that interaction going on with quite a few of the characters as well.
The question is it actually going to be Baraka Sector, or is it just button check things? Because Kompetitor's 100% bringing out the Johnny Cage, because this guy plays one character, and you're looking at him.
John.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the few character specialists still left, man. Where are they all going?
You know, at this point in the life of the game, they explore those new characters. I mean, I see a ton of people jumping on T1000, of course, because awesome character, but also so versatile. We're talking about how different characters get additional benefit from those cameos. T1000 is one of those one-size-fits-all characters for the cameo system. Of course, mixed potential is insane.
Well, I think ultimately the main purpose of playing multiple characters is just never having to play a bad match.
Yeah, there's that too.
The problem is it's hard to play multiple characters at a high level, but I just think players they're so dedicated and they put so much time into the game that it's not impossible. And when your fundamentals are at a certain point, it gets a bit easier to pick up characters. Than once upon a time. Although speaking of Jax, we're seeing some Baraka Jax.
Ooh, okay.
Just a big old pile
yeah, this is an interesting team. This actually does deceivingly high damage and gets a lot of ground pound utility. It's a very much kind of quintessential, like I would say a basic Jax team, but it gets the job done 100%.
Right. Yeah, looking for those unblockable situations here to get a little bit of extension. You can get that air time, the air spin from Baraka if you get the launch off that. Ooh, aggressive stand-up here coming from TY. Backbreaker, yes.
Nice. That is going to be a decent chunk added to near enough any touch. Off your most kind of consistent one-bar confirms, I think you're looking like maybe low 400s, which for Baraka in this version, not bad at all. Oh, but there's that tricky stuff with the ground pound jump kick.
Oh, whoa. Very fortunate duck here.
Throw combo in the corner. There it is. That is good damage for a throw as well. Good lord.
Oh, 200? Okay. Take it for ground pound. There's that spin I was talking about there. Still brings it down, but unfortunately put yourself in the corner, and a nice follow from Kompetitor to close it out.
Yeah, Johnny Tremor. Really, Tremor has kind of put Johnny Cage back on the map, right? But once upon a time, he was the most common character in the game competitively, right? There was just Johnny players everywhere. And disappeared for a while, but back in full force. That Tremor pairing looking so solid. The Rising Star utility, the extra health to offset his natural lower. I mean, you know, he's back to a good old-fashioned 1,000 health character.
Corner carry here. No punch. Resetting for that tremor in the next sequence.
Big punish.
Yeah. Being able to shut down Jax for an extended period is huge. Look at the damage benefit you're getting out of it.
Yeah, it was pretty ambitious to go for the armor into ground pound, because don't get me wrong, you can use ground pound to make unsafe stuff, like safe, quote unquote, when you ground pound yourself, but not going to work as a reversal though. A lot of startup to ground pound.
Oh, nice air to air. Kompetitor 2 ready for it. Saw the wind up from Jax in the background there.
Yeah, solid game number 1. Oh, little bit of coaching. I like how the players are pretty straightforward when it comes to like the rules with coaching in MK. I feel like because rules have been kind of pretty clearly outlined in the terms and conditions for so long that players are kind of used to it by now. Gone are the days of there just being an instant huddle of players on the stage. Yeah.
The whole pit crew pulling up with the notes.
The gang is here.
Got the setup here. Look at how much meter we have on the side of Kompetitor. I was surprised we're going to let this rock for as long as it did.
Yeah, that was a lot of just straight up clean hits.
Good dunk. Trying to bring back this life lead if we can. Nice little interrupt here. Down 1, steal the turn. Good block on the overhead.
Good block. That was a tricky situation. Okay, what's going to be? Safe jump.
Okay.
Oh, throw counter. Trying to press on wake up as TY.
I mean, we gave plenty of respect, I feel like, to all the resources that TY had, and finally using that meter. Oh, no.
That was a very brave break, but it might work out. Okay. I mean, one hit into Fatal Blow. This is over, even without the bar. Oh, no. Tried to parry? Oh, it did. Managed to get through, indeed.
Couldn't help but press, I guess, in that scenario. Maybe we were expecting the dash through off the Fatal Blow activation.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like it's so often these days that if we see the Johnny Cage Fatal Blow, it's that like sweep distance where they just walk back and they just wait. It's weird to see it actually work again. But you have to remember, it's still a parry. And also one of the few parries in the game that parries lows.
True, true. Just get the lava plume here, just to extend for corner again. Nice.
Oh, outside the corner.
Yeah. Got that one. Very tricky on the low poke there. Watch it.
Oh,
nice.
Big up block. But kind of starved for meter. TY hasn't really been able to use the bar for massive openings too much yet in this match.
Just get set up here. Tremor still extending a little bit of offensive pressure. Nice sweep with the back 4, but what a wake up. Overextending is Kompetitor here. Let's go for the 4 series.
Okay, there's the extension. Nice.
Ooh, good block. A little bit telegraphed on that overhead.
Yeah, I guess that's the downside. If you do go for the new held version, obviously it gets plus on block and gives you a bigger launch, but the cost of it being much easier to react to. That's going to be a punish immediately from Kompetitor. Looking good, honestly. 2-0. Clean start.
Like, some of the pieces are there on the side of TY, just not quite crossing that finish line either.
You have to remember from Kompetitor, like he might not be the kind of name you see in like who's the best player in the community discussions, right? Oh, who's your favorite to win tournaments? But he's always a name that you see in the bracket. You know, he's always there, he's always dedicated. And when you've been around as long as he is, you're not going to be bad at the game. Yeah, and we're seeing that he absolutely knows his stuff. And this could be a good weekend for him. He's playing really well if he keeps this up. I don't see why he couldn't go further. There's the sector that we saw in the button check. So this much less of a, whereas the Jack's kind of ground pound approach won't be the same, obviously, with sector, but Baraka gets so much off up rocket.
And I've played soldiers dozens of times. Big one.
Oh dear. Johnny does have some of the best dialogues in this game.
Right?
But I feel like that's the case for most games that have them.
Yeah.
It's just Johnny Cage being Johnny Cage. Oh, already in the corner from round start. Good lord.
She's knee. Watch the dome.
That is a tricky block.
I don't know if Sector is going to get any opportunity. Nice jump in there. All right. Our break. Here's the missile. Just clean missile, though. Good block.
Oh, again. Yeah. I think that is the charged overhead we're seeing, and that is plus on block. So Kompetitor challenging the advantage, but getting the hit, so can't really blame him for going for it, right? It's working out.
All right, good block on the low. And the respect here. Things are starting to slow down now that we're starting to get these missiles out from Sector here. Nice jump in, but the armor right through. Doesn't even matter. We got that final hit in on match point.
Now, will Kompetitor manage to get a 3-0 here? Oh, okay. We're seeing so much advantage, just not respected. There's definitely two characters for it. Obviously, Johnny Cage still plus frames on tap for the character.
Nice. Oh, geez. Goes for the slide. Yikes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is start on a high there for the Chop series.
Yeah, it's one of those few moves that hits twice, but is double high.
Yeah.
I feel like so many normals or strings would be like high mid, but nope. A standing four from Baraka, straight up just high. And for good reason, right? At least for that whole string, no gap, plenty of chips. Speaking of which, Fatal Blow going to apply that debuff. Will we see a chip follow up? I don't think you really need to. I think if you're tying the situation, you don't need to rush in. You will have the life lead. You'll be sitting on a rocket potentially. Could just go for Blade Spark trade. Just go for a safe jump. Oh, and again, Kompetitor getting chewed up by that back three. That sneaky second hit.
Still gets me every time. I've seen it for so many years. I'm like,
oh yeah, that normal's going to hit people forever, I think.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Again, there it is.
Try to sneak in with that back three. Full stop on the low poke coming from Kompetitor. Watch it. That still gives you a little bit of opportunity despite getting caught by that missile. There we go. Good break. Jeez. Overcommitting there, trying to go for the back three again, and does get a full follow-up for Kompetitor to go for that corner. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. That might be enough. Yeah, that's like hella enough. Oh, and that will do it. Kompetitor sealing the deal in his first pool match for himself. Looking good so far. I've got to say, shout outs to Kompetitor. Yeah. Long time player in the community. He's been around for quite a while and always rocking that Johnny Cage. Shout outs to character specialists, man. There's not enough left. Not these days.
It's always fun to see somebody like through the decades, right, of like playing the same character over and over again, especially in the historic series of Mortal Kombat. You're seeing all of them kind of change and evolve ever so slightly. Like I went back to try to play Scorpion in like MK1 and I was like, oh wait, these inputs are not at all the same compared to what we have now. We're so used to it. We're so comfortable to it, but you should be pretty used to these ad breaks that we have here at Combo Breaker. So don't go away. More coming up right after this.
No coasts.